Welcome everyone to the Steam release version of Distant Worlds 2. It may be a couple days away still, but I have been given access to Distant Worlds 2 and this is the release version. So that means you can buckle up and prepare yourself for a pretty long series. Let's just jump right into it then. I'm going to be staying with as many of the default options as I can. A lot of these galaxy shapes are pretty interesting. I've played around with a few of them. I actually find that some of these even clusters and varied clusters can make for some fun games. To my disappointment, actually, I don't know why it doesn't feel quite as nice to use the ring no center as it used to be. Which is not a bad thing, it's just, change in the game style or something. One of the things I am going to change is turn nebulae down to just sparse. These are kind of like the galactic terrain, and I'm not a huge fan of them. You can get ships stuck on them and stuff like that, and so we'll just turn those just a little bit. All the default options here, in my opinion, the only option is to start pre-warp. It's just so much fun to have this really slow build-up to finally get out of your system. One of the big changes I'll be doing the all projects visible and the fixed research pass for this. I'm going to be playing a bit of a conservative game for this first one, so we're going to stick to, like I said, a lot of the default options. I can see this adding to the replayability later on. The funny thing is, for research speed, I typically, in my games, always turn up the research difficulty so that the game's pace is a lot slower. Normal is already a pretty slow pace, so we'll be sticking to that. And okay, default options here. Pirates are going to be normal and normal. They have been changed since the preview, if you saw like the 7 or 8 pirates that I was inundated by. So it's been tweaked so that there's fewer pirates, but they're individually stronger. So it has more or less the same feel, but I think it's a good call. Space creatures, though, I am turning down from normal to few. So this has the options I just tested. I'm not actually sure which one I prefer between these two, so just going with a more conservative approach. Now this is also going to make the AI have an easier time getting out of their systems and such, because it means less space creatures for them too. Okay, all normal for the colonization stuff, nothing to really talk about here. And this is the big one. What race to choose? Well, I will just talk about each one of these briefly. Actarians are my favorite. I think that they have the best raw science potential. They have ship maintenance, they have really energy efficient engines, which are awesome and have actually been fixed. So what I showed in the preview, they had some bug where, although the cruise engines were still extremely efficient, for some reason the maximum speed, combat speed basically, of those engines was about 6 times worse than any other engine, so they were the opposite of energy efficient. But that has all been fixed now. So they get this nice bonus to research, all research and then construction research. Pair that with the ship maintenance savings. Ship energy savings is effectively like better reactors. I mean, there's so many things to like about the Actarians. I love them. And they can have a technocracy. My favorite with them is actually the democracy, because I like to get the faster population growth. I don't know if they show the population growth here, if it's the same for everyone. Do note that the Actarians are one of the weakest nations as far as combat stats go. 90 and 90 is only worsted by the Caterans, who just really can't defend themselves against anybody at 65-65. Just put that in contrast, the Mortallons happen to have over double that at 140-140, which means that one group of Mortallons can effectively take on twice the number of Caterans. So Actarians, we're not going to do them. I also wanted to make sure I don't do the same thing as Larry Monty or Das Tactic, the two giants of Distant Worlds. So to give people a little bit more exposure. I think Larry is doing the Beskar Hive. That'll be interesting. Very warlike. And I think that Das Tactic actually went with what was going to be my choice. Das Tactic. The humans. I was actually considering being the humans myself, because I think that I can see myself doing the humans and the Actarians, one of those two after this series. Because I think the humans are kind of interesting to actually roleplay as. Maybe I'll pick the humans and I'll slow down the game a lot so that we're stuck in the pre-warp era. Give us a little bit of the Expanse type feel to the beginning game, which I think would be a lot of fun. Mortallon's very warlike and all that. We've seen a lot of them in the preview series already, so it's another one I didn't really want to play as. The Ticans are just too tradey, and, you know, they make a lot of money, they get their mining rate. They do have damage control and repair rate stuff, so, you know, their ships repair, but they're going to take more damage than they can repair, usually, because they're just not that they're not very good at doing anything, except for, well, they're just traders, and they make money. So we're going to be going with the Zenox. The Zenox are this cautious race of cats. I mean, they're cat-like in this, you know, reluctance to mingle with the other races. It's not that they're super antagonistic towards them. They just prefer to be left alone. So they're, I don't know, maybe you could call them a little bit xenophobic, but like it's not impossible for them to have good relations with other nations. They're generally seen as research-oriented, although they get no bonuses for all research. That's left to the Octarians and the humans. The main thing with them is they have fantastic shields. They do have a few other Xenox-specific traits like sensors, which we'll see and all that, but mainly what you're doing with the Zenox is you're building really good ships that have really good shields. Now, I think that shields are one of the most important things in the game, as far as like, if you want to have a tech which is really good. Another one I would actually say is even the humans getting their late game fighters, which are really good. That really helps the humans have good carrier forces. Actarians get those early, but they don't have any special ones late in the game, where the humans are just the opposite. They don't have any early game special fighters, but they have late ones. So anyways, the Zenox are going to be what we go with here. And I just can't get away from choosing... their default is monarchy, but I just can't get away from choosing democracy, because to me population growth is just one of the most important things. So we'll be the Tortugan... Cat. What is it? Oh yeah, we'll be the Tortugan Caterans. Caterans being just warriors, brigands, maybe even, but you know, whatever. It's just kind of a fun name. The Tortugan Caterans, even though we're really not, we're going to be quite a peaceful folk. At least we're going to try to be. Where are we going to start? I think that completely random is fine, and I won't give us an agreeable home system, but I actually think it's kind of fun to start with an agreeable home system. For your first game, you might consider it. And that will take us into the release version of Distant Worlds 2. It's finally here. I'm so happy. And I feel like the preview series, getting the preview series in there first, to like kind of blunt the expectations and, you know, get a series out of the way. So this isn't a cold start. That's wonderful. I feel even better about this one. Yeah, I'm playing as the Zenox. This is not I should say I haven't played as this race almost at all in the beta. Only just recently gotten to... Whoa, here it is. Basic tour. Disable all this. So I know the mechanics pretty well, but I just don't know the Zenox that well. I mean, I played the crap out of this game. I probably have at least 100 hours in the game already. Maybe 200? I don't know. I played a lot. So anyways, what are we going to be doing here? The first thing is we're going to go to our policy settings, and we're not going to do completely all manual. That's one of the differences in Distant Worlds 2 to Distant Worlds 1. That you actually can rely on some of the automation. I mean, not that you couldn't before either, but I feel like it's actually pretty important to do so. So we're going to turn manual on for some of these things. Now, ship and base design, turning this on manual means that there cannot be any automation. Turning it on automated, and this isn't completely clear, obviously, fully automate this region. It still allows you to manually design the ships that you turn on manual control. I will manually set the intelligence missions. We'll have them suggest for all these. This is suggest and execute unless I cancel by the time the message goes away. I don't like that though. And we'll do manual for all of these. And we're just got to go through all these policy settings. You can skip forward another minute if you're not really interested in seeing this, if you want to jump right into the game. Exploration's fine. I'm going to set my minimum suitability to like 25, just so it doesn't give me pop-up notifications for planets which are just barely interesting. I can manually choose them later if I decide I want more population. But generally, I really don't want population. I really don't want colonies on things which are very close to the actually being a negative income source. Yeah, so ship and base design, again, I'll keep automated, but then we'll manually set some of those. We will prioritize the state ships. We will automate. We will actually manually control new military ships, but the other state ships, such as explorers and construction ships, will be on automated from the get-go. I'm not going to worry about these percentages because I will be choosing them myself, and we're all good there. So on to diplomacy, which we just want to say manual for offering gifts so they don't bother us too much, and I think that's all we need to do there. Military, mainly I want to go down to enlist civilian ships. This is important. I don't know if I got this right beforehand, but there was no tooltip to explain it, and now there is because the game's released. It's no longer a beta or a preview. Whether captured civilian ships should be enlisted into your empire or should be instead scrapped for tech and resources. So I want them never to be enlisted. I want them always to be scrapped, and I always want them to be disassembled at a base for tech and resources. That is just what I'm going to mandate 100% of the time. Which is actually pretty rare to get civilian ships captured, but that's the way I'm going to deal with them, because last game in my preview I actually had a whole ton of them. Anyway, so we'll say upgrade enlisted ships, no, but that won't matter because they should all be scrapped anyway. And I'll leave those options all in default right now. I can check them off camera too, so we don't need to bog down too much in this. This all looks fine. I'll be manually controlling that anyway. Yeah, manual control. And this is all looking good. Okay, good. So the next thing you'll notice is one of the things I turned on was funding levels to manual. So this is going to be, I think that you can get some good stuff out of the manual control here. So I'm going to set this to probably, I think I just go all the way to 100 until until we have like a spaceport or something that has a research station. Give all their money to colony growth to start. Let's take a look at our new leader. Bant Profarian, I should say. I shouldn't offend the leader by getting his name wrong. Oh my gosh, maintenance savings negative, so that's bad. Facility construction speed is just not useful almost at all. Espionage is quite good, but this leader is not great. I would say that we're not off to a great start. We're off to a poor start, one might say. So early warp field experiments is going to get an event which is going to boost that by 50%. There it is. Okay, so should we read this? Yeah, I guess I'll skim read it at least. And the ruins of an ancient vault. We found stuff about our past, centuries ago. The Zenox technocracy. Span the stars. And I could have been a technocracy. I chose democracy because of the population bonus. Because technocracies, I think, actually get a population growth malus. So it's not good. But they have a lot of research bonuses for that to offset it. And they also have, democracies have a war tolerance negative, and technocracies don't have that. So, anyways, finally, the dark times may be coming to an end. There's some technology we didn't know what was going on. We lived in isolation. There's a nice line here about the planet, which is, there it is. At last we can leave this world, which for so long has both sustained us and kept us prisoner. I really like that line. We are a mere shadow of our glorious ancestors. We have lost so much of what made the Zenox the most knowledgeable and important civilization in a galaxy teeming with life. Now, I don't know if that's actually true or just kind of more like a reflection of the Zenox opinion of themselves. Yeah, I think that's probably that. Anyway, 8% colony development, 6% ship construction speed, not that important, but okay, it's useful. 8% scenery. And we got research labs, which is pretty typical. Okay, so let's dismiss this, go into our research screen, and just in case you are coming into this game for somehow not seen this, this is a big, big research tree. In fact, you use the WASD to navigate even in here. And I don't know why I get a little bit of lag on this screen. I don't know if I'm the only one who has that, but generally it goes away eventually, or I stop paying attention to it. But so early warp field, we have enough money right now. If we rest our cursor, it's going to say we have cash on hand of 24,558, but only 3,750 to crash research this. And it's such an important tech that we're actually going to try to crash research a lot of our tech early on. Now, we won't have the money to do all of that, and there are some events which require some money, and there's a whole balancing act, of course, but I definitely want to get those engines going right away. And we're actually going to want to pick another tech too, because it's nice to have one in the queue, which means that if you kind of don't notice that a new research has finished, or that the research has finished, there should be one in the queue to start taking up all the research points. Don't want them dumped into the void. And I don't know if this game has the system like Solaris does, where they kind of like stores your points for a little bit. Here's the sensors I was talking about that the Zenox have. They're slightly better than the improved sensors, and they all just go to the same spot anyway. So I'm not really sure if they're, that critical. But what is it that we want to do in the very beginning? Well, we actually, as the Zenox, do not get a free spaceport like the Actarians. Yet another reason why the Actarians are super awesome. So one thing we might consider doing is getting a commerce center on that port, because we'll be building it ourselves, so we'll be able to retrofit it however we like. The thing with the Actarian spaceport is that since it's a custom design, you don't have as much control over what are the components which can go on it. Anyway, so I think we're going to go with even basic space commerce right away. And then we'll probably want to get the things which are going to make our population happy. I don't know why, I just like doing this. And then immediately after that, we'll go back to hyperdrive tech, and we'll get the next one after that, which is stable warp fields. Having the skip drive is going to be enough to get us around, and this one is actually going to get us out of our initial system. So beyond that, we have enough in the queue that we can delay any further choices. Okay, it's also good to look and see what we have around us. It looks like we're a moon. Okay, we are. We're a moon around a gas giant, and with a second moon kind of very close nearby. I kind of don't like this because I think it's going to mean we will end up not using our jump drives because of the close proximity. So there's some little tricks you need to know about this game. Unfortunately, ships don't use the hyperdrive if there's too small of a distance between them, even though it would be faster to do it. It's kind of unfortunate. And speaking of hyperdrive, distances between spaceports is what I really need to talk about here. Yeah, everything's set to automatic, which is fine for now. We're going to need a spaceport pretty quickly. Let's see what they have lined up for us. Actually, I don't really even need to see what this is. I already know that it is sufficient. But one thing I can do, so we will turn this to manual. I can edit at least the weapon places, which they may not have done correctly. So this is 180, 180. Let's look from the top. 180, 180, 180, 180. So here's a 270. That's definitely where we want the... Where's that 270? Okay, yeah. So we want the particle beam there and not here. So let's get the other particle beam medium and put it on the other 270. Should be over here. Oh, there it is. And now we can get seeking missiles in all these other spots because those are probably better anyway. And there it is. Look at that. We're right at 750, which probably means that we're good to go. Now, we already start with shields research. That's another difference with the Zenox. They start with the free ship shields technology, the shield technology. So we don't need to research that. We get them on our spaceports right away. We're probably going to leave this exactly where it is, because I hope we have enough of everything. So yeah, we added a couple of missiles, and we have a good number of shields. What's the shield rating at? Oh yeah, it's good, like almost 800, 720. It's decent. So we'll save this, and this will be our first spaceport on our first planet. It's like ISS. 10,000, we'll do it. We need it. So I probably should have... Oh, good, it went to a good spot. Good, that's great. So we finished the first exploration ship, I imagine. Yep. And this was built from our planet. Obviously, it was not built from our spaceport. So the first order of business, although this is an automated ship and it's going to go explore manually, I'm actually going to manually control this one. I know that this planet probably has Castellan on it. Let's see, we have an ocean planet. Oh, we do have 3 gas giants. 4 gas giants? Wow. So there is a possibility, actually, of more than one planet in our home system having Castellan. And that would be great. They want us to get a second explorer ship, but I'm actually going to decline this. The reason being, I want to wait for the first tech, which is going to take 1.5 years. It's actually quite a long time. But it'll take a lot less once we get our spaceport constructed. since that's going to allow us to... Oh, I should have this up. That's going to allow us to research almost twice as fast. Research is, I think, going to jump up from 12 to like 26 or so. I think the first research thing is like 10, maybe. So, over 20. I think at least we'll get over 20. So, you know, about double of our research rate. And you know what? We'll crank it up to 4x because right now there's not a whole lot to be done. Note that, unfortunately, we don't have the ability to queue orders for our explorer ship here. So, although I'm going to try to keep this screen up with the Empire funding levels, we'll also have to keep an eye on Eager Starseeker. This was apparently just a game design decision from the designer. I just really don't understand it, but it's what was done. So we'll have to try to find a way to make do without a ability to queue orders. So I guess the emphasis is supposed to be on things that are supposed to be automated now. So you can do your own thing at your own science research. By the time we get to this planet, we'll probably be just about to finish our research. And we still have a year left. Dismiss this. And then we'll just crank away at 4x for a little bit. I might get one other research... I could get one other exploration ship and send them this way. Let's wait for the spaceport to finish first. And hopefully this is high up on the priority list. Okay, our first construction ship, which we can't use right away unless... Do you have a location bonus for ship construction? Okay. So I think we can actually get a research station here as well. How much is that going to cost? Nope, no research bonuses here. What? I thought it said plus... Oh, that's on the ground. Okay. That's not from the planet. That's from the research outpost. Wait, it's from here? Yeah, it's from here. So if we find something else, I have gotten it before where there's like some bonus on the planet otherwise. I got a new general. Oh my gosh, wow, we have a ton of things that are discovered at Galaxies of all places. Oh, and yet another unknown resource yet to be discovered as well. How are our exploration ships doing? We only have the one who is not currently on a mission because he has... Holy crap! I did not set this system to abundant, but this is a fantastic planet. This is just going to knock off so many things that... yeah, that would be very useful to have. So let's get him over here to explore the next planet. And we can actually have... I think we'll get one more. Oh, we're so close. Yeah, so that's actually quite a lot of resources. So our construction ship is... Yeah, okay. Assign this. I will assign it. I don't know, honestly, what the best thing... Where the best place to buy it is going to be. I mean, to build it. My suspicion is that if I build it right... if I build it on the opposite side, I don't know if we'll make the hyperjump. And there's no ability to actually choose... to discover what is a unit of range in the game. It's kind of a mystery why that is. But there's no grid or nothing else you can activate. So I actually won't have any idea what is the distance between these planets without just kind of eyeballing it. If I had to guess, I would say this is around 5,000. But that's, what does that even mean? How do I even know that? I don't know. It's just some weird, funky guess. So I'm going to let the construction ship build wherever, and hopefully he builds closer so that the distance that we have to travel is not that much. Now, again, we're on 4x, so look at this on 1x speed. It's just a crawl to this other planet. So I think I'm going to try to risk it that we... Oh, I can't manually choose it. Okay, so fine, he's going to go build that wherever he wants. We'll just have to be okay with that. And you're going... You know what? We're just about to get the skip drives. Why don't you just survey our planet? No, that's... Survey. And we'll just turn him on automated. Can do his own thing after this. And I will build one. Just give me one more minute. Okay, spaceport has been constructed, and now research will jump up to 27. Okay, but it didn't actually because we aren't given any funding to it. Now notice already my colony growth has been capped. And the reason why I turned this on manual is because there's no option, surprisingly, in the game to not give yourself 10% towards cash flow when the funding level is on automated, it just sets this to 10% and there's nothing you can do about it. I'd love to see an option which is automated, but 0% set to reserved, or like automated everything but the reserved amount. Because mainly what I do is just kind of balance these numbers constantly, and you know, it means you have to look at this and make sure you're paying attention, because it does fluctuate. Anyways, we got a new spaceport. It's giving us more research, and we go over here, we see 27 out of 27. Fantastic, everything's good, and that means our research should finish all that much more faster. Okay, so we're going to decline this for now because we're going to get a better scout ship in just 1%. Down to 1, there it is. So this is hyperspace technology. Now this is a game changer. This is faster than light. Actually, I don't know, it might even be... Was that faster? I mean, whatever. Let's not go too hard sci-fi on this. Anyways, it is the ability for us to jump at faster than light speeds, or like crazy much faster speeds. However you want to interpret it, which is really important. So there's a lot of different ways you could go here. I think a lot of people might even say the next best thing is just to get the next jump drive right away. I wouldn't disagree. I think that's a very viable option. I should also show you, by the way, that our shields, I mean, because this is, I don't know. When I look at Distant Worlds, and I can't help but just drool over the tech tree. I love it. So this is the Zenox special trait. I don't want to buy that yet. It's a little bit too far ahead. You can see it would take 31 years for us to research, but the Megatron shields are the best in the game. And that's because this is the Zenox special thing. I don't know. There's not much to say about them. There's one way you could view them as not the most amazing. I don't know if this is true at every level, but let's just look at the final level. The shield strength sometimes is not as high as some of the other shields. But what we have here is a shield. Oh, this is a shield recharger. Okay, the shield strength on this is 1200, and this is 1080. So that shows it pretty clearly that although the Megatron shields, I still think that they are the best in the game because the shield recharge rate is 8, shield resistance of 5. These have a recharge rate of 6. So you're sacrificing about 20%, a little bit, maybe like 15%. I think it's about 15% of your shield strength to get a 33% increase in your recharge rate. I don't know. I think it's worth it, but it's not like as clear-cut of a situation as, in my opinion, like the Actarian engines are. When you have these, there's just no reason to use the main ones, as we can kind of compare those as well. And why not? Because this is fun to look at the tech tree and all this stuff. You can see that the maximum thrust of this is 44,664, and this one is 43,677. So no matter what the energy usage would be, probably your most important stat at the end of the game is just make sure I can move as fast in combat as possible. But if you were also considering what is the energy efficiency, I don't think a lot of people are. But this is divided by 2, and this is divided by 1.6. So it's way more efficient. And it just also happens to have more thrust to boot. Vectoring of 9, I think that's the same, right? Vectoring of 9. Yeah, actually this one has a vectoring of 12. So you can see that you do take a hit in terms of vectoring for the advantage. Yeah, so that one, I just feel like it's a little bit more of a clear-cut decision to go with those engines. Whereas the shields, I don't know, I could actually, I guess it's nice to have the game which is still balanced, even if you pick, a different team and you don't want the entire game to become unbalanced, just even though it's a single-player only game, so you don't really need to worry about balance too much. And I actually really like the asymmetric part of this game. But, yeah, it's nice that when I come up against Zenox shields, I don't have to worry about that. It's not impossible to penetrate or something. Building 4 new exploration ships seems like a bit of a tall task. We don't have that much money right now, and I want to save it for research projects and such. But I think I will build a couple more. Now we can kind of look at what the heck did the game do with my exploration ships here. So I'm going to turn these on manual control from here on in. I'm not choosing that for the construction ships because I think those are a little more... I don't think there's much you can do wrong with those. Now, they haven't retrofitted any of these yet, so I can actually change the design. That's great. I typically take off the weapon. I'd actually rather get more shields. And we have 13 space remaining. We have the ability to put another engine on too, which is size 20. So I might even just take this off and put on another engine. And that is looking pretty good. So we have 11 space remaining still, which is definitely not enough for an engine. Proximity sensor array, that eventually needs to be replaced by something else. I'll keep it for now. We're full on all these other components, on our general components. There's really nothing else we can put on there. So I took off the missile, but I added an ion engine. I think that's actually a better choice for our very first exploration ships. First of all, from like a role-playing standpoint, I always like to leave my ships unarmed at the beginning. From this perspective that we have no idea what's out there. Now that kind of contradicts the game lore, which we just read all this stuff about how we know that there was this fearsome opponent called the Shakturi, and they're out there somewhere, and well, I'm sure that that's not the last we've heard of the Shakturi. So I'll just leave that ominous spoiler for now. So what? Can you finish your job? I think I will try to build it as far away as possible. We might get lucky that they jump. Huh. He's just insists on doing that. Okay, fine. Go do your retrofit then. Maybe he ran out of fuel or something. I don't know. All right. We didn't get as much as I was hoping. No, that's actually from here. Okay. So let me go top-down perspective. There he is. Found him. And he's off to survey Glees. No, he is. Oh, he's surveying Glees again. Yeah, we definitely do need some more construction ships. So there's some humble origins for our Zenox Caterans. Our Tortugan Caterans. Lots of stuff to explore in our opening system. We'll have to wait till we do our first warp jump. That might be a nice way to end the first episode, just somebody get a warp jump out first. I can probably build a few of these ships. Okay, so I decided that that's an acceptable design. Let's actually get some. Maybe just 2 for now. Yeah, they really want me to build a total of 4. No, I think we need a little bit of money. Not until we get our basic space commerce out. Then we can afford to do some more. And I really should be looking here. Turns out we're doing fine on money. I don't know how that happened. We don't even have a commerce center there yet. I'll speed up to 4x. We already are. Sometimes I wonder if the game could support an 8x. I don't think so, but there are lulls in the game where it's kind of just be immersed and watch your empire grow. I guess I can take a look at some of the planet statistics here. So what are we looking at? There it is. Max population for this is only 7 billion. That's not that high. I mean, it'll be higher for us because we have a plus 39 suitability. So it's really high. It's almost 100 for us. Actually, it's pretty low suitability total for the planet, I would say. It's worse than other home planets that I've had it might be like 1 standard deviation below. So on the worst side, but that's fine. We'll make up for it because we can just steal stuff with our glorious spies. Not that we can do that yet, but eventually we will. Okay, so this should be it. This should be the big moment. We're expecting any moment now somebody decides to jump off and explore a different planet. Probably this one. Nope, you're exploring that. There it is. Okay, so Prudent Illusion here is probably, Prudent Illusion is making the first jump. Kapow! There they go! And this is obviously for a civilization that has not had faster-than-light travel capabilities for forever, or as long as they can remember. Hasn't been forever, spoiler alert, but this is a big moment for us. But this is also a big moment for me to call this first video to a close. So it looks like we will have Castle on right next to us. That's great. Because this is the first episode in what I expect will be a nice long series, if you wouldn't mind, I'd greatly appreciate it if you could press the like button, give the thumbs up just to increase that visibility on YouTube. Other than that, I won't say it again for the rest of the series. I hope you'll join me for a few more episodes. I'm having a lot of fun already. Can't wait to play more. So until the next one, which should be coming out basically daily for the next few days at least. Until then, thanks for watching, stay safe, and take care.